How many car batteries do you think I could throw off this boat?
They chose to dump his body into the ocean.
The guy who made Eyes Wide Shut ended up dying, what, three days later or something?
What better example of a fucking domestic enemy are you waiting for?
It's like we're an insane asylum, like LARPing as a country. Like, sometimes I'm looking at stuff like that, I'm like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about?
Welcome back to Making America Podcast, the only fucking podcast where you got blue-collar guys talking to you about shit on the job, shooting the shit like regular fucking normal guys, alright? And today, crazy fucking day, together we found out that the aliens are using direct energy weapons to turn our friend Noah gay.
That is a goddamn lie, Phil. There are no energy weapons, there are no aliens, and I am just as God made me, sir.
See, I can't even listen to it. It's crazy. Really crazy.
No. Okay, look. Why is it that every time things sort of heat up on the world stage, suddenly we have to talk about aliens or some like tranny in the military or something to distract us from this crazy shit going on in the world? They're about to bomb Iran out of existence, and suddenly they're like, you know what? We're about to release all the files on aliens. Do you guys want to talk about aliens for a little bit while we kind of go in the background and murder a bunch of people? It's crazy to me. I don't know.
They missed their opportunity to do that back in the early 2000s or in the 90s. We're beyond that now. We don't care about aliens no more.
I can't lie. I do kind of care about aliens.
Yeah, coming into our country. Like Richie.
Like Richie. Like Richie's over here like, don't look at me, guys.
No, but seriously though, like peak aliens was like Independence Day, right? The movie Independence Day. That was what, like 2000, 2001 or something like that? It's
Yeah,
like,
it was
we're
time
beyond
ago.
that. Yeah, we're no longer retards, actually. Like, we have phones and social media.
Like and subscribe.
I don't know why we're still on it.
Although there is a case to be made for phones and social media making us bigger retards than we were before.
Yeah.
I get that.
It kind of folds into the whole thing with like the way the alien files or whatever we're gonna end up calling them are being used. Right, we get sort of overloaded with so much information just coming at us this way and that way and that way and that way and from above and below, left and right, and you don't know what to think. There's too much to parse through, right? So you end up believing what's easiest to believe when it's not something that affects you personally. For example, there's all the crazy lies about the proxy war on Russia, right? How Zelensky is like fighting for Ukrainian independence and there aren't any Nazis over there. Don't look that way. They're not taking American tax dollars to wage this proxy war on behalf of international finance capital. They're fighting for freedom. We promise. If you don't look too hard, it's easy to just believe that because it doesn't affect you personally. It's way over there. Right? And you have this to worry about and that to worry about and this other thing. You have so many issues and topics that it's absolutely impossible to sort of sift through all the bullshit to find the truth on everything. So you end up only worrying about a few things. I don't know. Am I crazy in that or what?
It's definitely a distraction. Don't want us to focus on certain stuff that's being released by the Department of Justice. So obviously, it's just a distraction, and they do it on purpose. They want us to not focus on what's going to harm the ruling elites. A lot of people are being exposed, and Prince Andrews, or former Prince Andrews, was arrested. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. The royal family. And I made a post too on Facebook. I was like, how come they can arrest him, but they can't arrest Trump, so I don't know.
It's weird because England still seems like maybe they're trying to put up some semblance of law and order and accountability. I feel like the elites are just rubbing it in our faces that there's nothing we can do. They're kind of mocking us with it. Right? Like, look at all this evil shit. What are you going to do about it, bitch? You know what I mean? And people are just kind of, I don't know. There's nothing we can do. Not realizing that if you stop following their bullshit for a minute and blaming everything on your neighbor because he's a Republican or everything on your coworker because he's a fucking Democrat, there's a whole goddamn lot we can do. All we got to do is get together, have some unifying like umbrella organization that can take different groups of people and get them together operating in unison collectively. And there's more than a whole lot we can do. There's everything we can do. So the distraction, I think, plays a huge, immense role because it keeps us away from ever thinking about that. Like, what are we going to do about this? Okay, we know it. What do we do about it?
And I would just like to add real quick, before anyone starts calling this like a political podcast, right? We're strictly political or something like that. If you can't divorce economics from politics, then you cannot divorce politics from the everyday working class man. Right, all this shit gets talked about on the job. All this shit is relevant. It's relevant to every single one of our lives as working class men and women. So you can't get around it, And the shit that you have to talk about.
Yeah, they sort of try to put a taboo on talking about politics. Oh, that's bad manners, right? Well, fuck you. It affects us. Mm-hmm. I get it if you're just like bashing on people for no goddamn reason, like, and making it more like an identity, I guess, than actually what's happening in the world. But look, the fact that our ruling elites are full of, sexual criminals, pedophiles, human slavers, you know what I mean? That affects us. Right? These are the same people leeching off us so they don't have to work. They don't have to do anything, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I feel like everything is politics.
And you see it with the Gateway Tunnel project. Trump playing stupid fucking political games and in turn pulls funding from literally the largest infrastructure project in the United States to fuck off with it, because his name isn't on Penn Station, or he needed the funds for the DHS, to go fucking get rid of all the aliens that are now being released in the files, I guess. I don't know.
Or harassing Mexicans or whatever the fuck he's doing with it.
Yeah, I don't want to lose Richie.
I don't either.
I love
Richie. I love that you're Mexican, and I will fight for your right to be Mexican.
Dominicans are.
That was fucked up.
Oh no, dude! In the military, everybody that was from Texas and California, they had no idea where the Dominican Republic was, so they just called me Mexican. They're like, "Yo, Rich, you're not Mexican, you're Cuban." And I'm like, I don't know, man. It was retarded, but it's what I've been to Mexico. It's a nice place too. Nice place to vacation.
I like Mexico. I've been to Mexico a couple times. Been to Mexico City, Cancun. I lived in LA for a while, so we used to go down to Ensenada, which is like a tiny little village south of Tijuana. I had a buddy who was a pro surfer, right? And we go there, and he had a house that we would stay at down there. And what we liked about it was the pharmacies would sell prescription drugs without a prescription. Right. Nice. So we would do dumb shit, like get loaded up on muscle relaxers and then try to have wrestling matches, right? Which didn't work very well. I should probably not explain all the crimes we did, but it was a fun time for a Noah of his early 20s.
Oh shit, I'm jealous.
Why? Why are you jealous?
This sounds like a great time to hang out with
I-
Noah in his early 20s.
Uh,
Very relaxing.
I was not the same dude. Let's say that.
Oh shit. Hey, we all got a pass.
That kind of stuff, subculture music, sports, all that kind of stuff is often used as a distraction. And it reminds me of the Super Bowl this year when everybody just got all bent out of shape because Bad Bunny was singing in Spanish. Like Spanish isn't spoken all across America. It's basically our second language. You know what I mean? If you've never been to California or Texas, maybe you don't know that, but a lot of people here speak Spanish, and they went so far as to like make a
an
non-Spanish
alternative.
halftime show, Erica Kirk and all those weirdos, where they got Kid Rock to sing as if, and they're like, oh, the whole complaint was, we can't understand what he's saying. But like, go ahead and tell me what ba wicka ba wa banga wang diggy means. You can't do it. I can't understand that shit. Neither can you, fucking liars.
You know what's crazy too is that they put Kid Rock on there. Some other people were pointing this out on social media, but he also took like some sort of performing deal with Warner Brothers for Osmosis Jones, where you like sang as one of the germs at the Zit nightclub on fucking
Yes.
Bill Murray's forehead, and in the lyrics he's rapping about like he's the biggest player, and he said that like he likes him underaged or whatever.
Oof.
Yeah,
Oh,
in the
this is
lyrics.
popular in Kid Rock music.
Yeah, so in the Osmosis Jones clip, he plays a germ that's singing about like, yeah, some say that's statutory, I say it's mandatory.
Jesus Christ.
That's the fucking
How'd he get away with this?
it was
dude.
like I think that the whole bit was like, oh well, he's playing a bad guy in the nightclub, and it's like, but it's kind of too on the nose considering that like Erica Kirk is now implicated in like a massive like human trafficking ring out in Romania with like Romanian angels, and then she purposely chooses a guy who played a bacterial germ in someone's zit, like rapping about fucking little girls. It's kind of too on the nose, isn't it? It's a bit
It's
too on the nose.
It's almost like what I was saying earlier. They're just mocking us. They're rubbing our faces in it that they're evil pricks, and we ain't doing nothing about it. That's what grinds my gears more than anything, brother. Like the fact that they're mocking us.
I mean, like they think this shit's funny to that. They probably think. I mean, remember the last stream we did. Fucking Howard Lutnick like laughing in the background as the reporter's trying to like ask about like sexual assault victims and like trafficking victims, and he's just laughing it off like he's gonna get away with it. All the people that are implicated, him and like Lex Wessner and like so many other people. I think there's another guy like Pompolino. There's like a whole attachment to like Italian like wealth. The family that is the owner of Fiat, like all these guys think that they're gonna keep getting away with it. The only ones that are like holding anyone accountable is the British, which is crazy because we're supposed to be 1776, right? We're supposed to be Star Spangled Awesome, like get it done. Like we're gonna cross the Delaware River and we're gonna pound some red coat ass into the fucking ground. No homo. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking no, but like we were supposed to be that, but instead the British are showing us up, and they're the only ones that's exacting any accountability. Everyone else, like when it's crazy, like everyone else on social media is talking about the same thing. Like, where the fuck are we? Why are we not coming together on this and just straight up like I saw someone say like we should march on DC. I've seen multiple people, which is where I'm at. Multiple people are like, we should all have a national stand down on taxes. Everyone across the country should have a go on a tax strike. Why are we paying money to pedophiles when like all the taxes do is go towards the interest of the national debt? It doesn't even go towards the fucking principal. 80% of the debt is owned by the British. But then if Steve Bannon's word is anything to go by and we conquered the British, we owe it to ourselves. So it's just nonsense. Like where
They sort of do this categorical bait and switch, right? Where they're like, oh, we owe it to the British. We owe it to, there's the Americans, the British. The fuck do we mean by us, right? right? I didn't take no loans out. Bill didn't take no loans out. Richie didn't take no loans out. Justin didn't take no loans out. These elite institutions did. And who did they take them out from? There are actual bank transactions. We can look at who is owed money. We can look at who sits on the boards of which financial institutions and who our tax dollars are actually going to. Because they're not going to just England. They're going to the Bank of England. They're going to the Rothschild family, right?
The banks of London. Yeah.
Precisely, which, you know, Deutsche Bank owns a big part of, Citigroup owns a big part of now. This is all like an internet. I don't want to say international because that sort of makes it seem like there's countries working together, but more like supranational, like above nations altogether that are sort of sucking up all the wealth of all of these nations. And good for the British for at least busting this one pedophile, but who knows if he's even responsible for anything, right? All they have him on is like he got with some girl. Who knows if the people that actually hold these human slave markets even told him about, right? We don't know that. So maybe he's a sacrificial lamb. I don't know. But at least they're like putting up a semblance of somebody needs to be held accountable. And here
there's documents that they got him on, supposedly. So in addition to that weird picture that we looked at where it looks like a underage girl, it looks like it could be an underage girl.
I forgot about that.
Where he's like over the top of her. And then there's another document that came out where they're saying that he witnessed a 6-year-old girl get sexually abused, like brutally, and he didn't do anything about it. He was witness to it and he let it happen.
How can you even call yourself a human being if you can see that and not immediately try to stop it?
Yo, they're fucking lizard people, yo. They're reptilians. Deadass. Like they're straight cannibals. Like snakes, you know.
Have you guys ever seen like the screenshots from the Rothschild masquerade ball?
Mm-hmm.
You guys got to look at that. You guys should look at the magazine photos from the Rothschild masquerade ball and compare them to Eyes Wide Shut.
That's wild, man. I remember seeing the movie Eyes Wide Shut and going, this seems so realistic. I could easily see how this is what they actually get up to, all these weird rich people. When you start digging into how these people act, there's something not normal about them.
Yo, I think this is the one Tom Cruise movie I've never seen.
It's good, man. It's good. It's creepy as hell.
This one is Eyes Wide Shut, and then this is the Masquerade Ball.
Dude, it's basically the same thing.
Freaky, man.
Like this, like.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Apparently they were surrealists, so they were like artsy fartsy, abstract shit, and then I don't know, some of the food was very interesting from what I remember.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
No. That's crazy. Yo, you know what's crazy is I was talking to my girlfriend and she was telling me that the guy who made Eyes Wide Shut ended up dying three days later or something.
Stanley Kubrick died 2 days after the film was made. Yeah. And eyewitness testimony says that even though he was old in age, they said that he was still in good health when it happened. There's a bunch of rumors floating around that the cut that we have publicly is not the original cut.
That's what I was gonna say.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, so the original cut of his film was more expository, and there's another eyewitness testimony saying that the original screening of the film that was originally screened for executive producers had far more expository and explicit like content in it, and like basically like, oh yeah, here's what's going on, like look at this, like, and I guess it was a huge deal, and they told him to cut it, and so the cut that we have publicly is not the original cut, supposedly. Those are the rumors that are going on based on eyewitness testimony.
Damn.
There's like another thing too is like there's tons after all these documents broke, like, so the alien shit is 100% like a psychological operation to like mess with people and distract them from what's being exposed in the files, because like there's so much financial crime that's being exposed in this. There, Howard Lutnick, who's Trump's Secretary of Commerce, was caught on multiple accounts of insider trading. Basically, Howard Lutnick publicly promoted Trump's tariffs, 10% tariffs across the world. But then behind closed doors, he bet against the tariffs, and he made money off of the rebates for the tariffs. So, and then there's
This is new.
multiple. Yeah, this came out. I think this came out yesterday or today. And then like or well, people started realizing it was in the files yesterday or today. And then Jeffrey Epstein is implicated in multiple instances of insider trading. I forgot what it was. He moved. So he had a shell company that operated as a nonprofit organization, but behind closed doors, it was moving on trade positions that there was no way you would have known to have bought or sold at the specific times that he did unless he had insider dealings. There's a bunch of other people that are implicated in insider trading. We knew that this has been happening for decades to the point that like we have like algorithmic APIs that track Nancy Pelosi's like stock positions because it's so accurate that 80% of the time you'll make a return if you just follow a politician because they have insider trade information. So
Have you guys ever
this
watched
just shows
The
that
Big Short?
I haven't seen it.
What you're talking about is shorting the
housing market?
whatever, the tariffs. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're talking about shorting the housing markets and stuff, right? But it's crazy, like that you can actually bet on that shit in the stock markets. Like it's the system is legitimately like allows you to do
gamble.
inside trading. Like it actually encourages inside trading.
Yeah.
So it's
And-
fucking mind blowing.
And the thing is, this is like how people point out, like they collectivize the losses and individualize the profits and individualize the gains. When my family members had to go without during the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis, and people lost their jobs, people lost their homes. When stuff like that happens, these guys are playing like they're playing casino with people's taxpayer dollars because every time when they fuck up in their financial financial like haberdashery, everything gets dumped on the average person. They always dump all of the cost of doing this bullshit, collateral debt obligations, like bullshit insurance ratings, like Moody's investment ratings, Fannie Mae and Fannie Mac investment ratings, how they would purposefully like give good accreditation on retirement plans and loans and say that this is a AAA investment. And then it turns out it's like B minus. And then like an old guy who invests in that investment program or that retirement program, they go to reach for the pension, they go to retire, and there's nothing there because it was a bullshit investment. So now they're eating cat food in a shitbox apartment in their 70s until they die in their 80s. And that's the system that we've chose to held up. And then all these people, all these financiers that were involved with Jeffrey Epstein, who was directly embedded with JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Larry Summers. Larry Summers is directly involved with Jeffrey Epstein, the slimy, cocaine-addled fat fuck, is directly involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Larry Summers was on the board of Goldman Sachs. After it was plummeted into the ground, he gets paid out, and he's involved with Jeffrey Epstein's like network after writing an essay about how like we can pollute and destroy Africa and dump waste in Africa because it's the most profitable thing to do. Those are the types of people that are involved in this network. It's like coke-addled, like crack-headed financiers that like sleep with hookers and go home to their wives.
And you tell anyone about this stuff, any reasonable person, like, this is fucked up. These people should be in prison. This type of thing shouldn't go on. So how is it possible that we still have this going on? right? That's
There's an alien.
that's what's so
spaceship.
mind fucking blowing to me. Hundreds of
Crazy.
millions of Americans, as long as they know this is happening, say no, that's wrong. It shouldn't happen. Yet here we are, all these people, not a single arrest, same system in place, elderly people still eating fucking cat food because their retirement plan got stolen. They sort of sold these pensions and 401ks and stuff like that to us as, well, now you're part of the capitalist class, right? You own these investments, right? Not telling us all they're doing is using it like a fucking Ponzi scam.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
It's a Ponzi scam. That's what it is, right? And yet we're out of other options. So we got to put our money in there because we got to roll the dice. Otherwise, we know for a fact we'll be broke, right? So we got to this point where none of it's working. Everyone's waking up to the fact that none of it's working. Yet here we are, and I hate to sound like a broken record, here we are doing nothing about it. Look, when I'm at work and there's a problem, boom, I fucking fix it, right? My pump breaks down. I stop what I'm doing. I stop, spraying, whatever. I go out to the hall. I open that shit up if I need to. I clean it out. I remove busted parts. I replace them. I grab some fucking channel locks or whatever, tighten everything back up, and I get going again. Back on the right track, and I finish the work. But we're at this point where everything is broken. The filter's not just clogged, it's full of pedophiles. And instead of like throwing paint at a wall, I'm throwing pedophiles at it, right? Like there's just pedophiles all around, everywhere, up in the corners, dragging my American flag down, fucking running after everybody's kids. What are we doing about it? It's like you can't even hear that the machine's fucked up. Why are we yelling at each other when this machine's fucked up and there's pedophiles going after all our kids?
I know this is why I reject the whole "don't pay your fucking taxes" thing. Because when you don't pay your taxes, they have the chance to like get on a plane and go to like fucking what was it, St. Jeffrey Island or whatever? What was Epstein's Island?
Little St. James.
Little St. James Island. They can just fly there. They know something's going on. We aren't paying our taxes. No. We got to make sure none of these fucking cockroach fucking faggots get away. You know what I mean? Because then they either come back or they go somewhere else.
Island, making sure they can't go. Look, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt and get it. Go ahead, man.
No, you're chilling. I'm done.
Okay, so really, like, what's our military doing? Our military takes an oath to defend us and to defend the Constitution, not to defend pedophiles, not to defend a superior officer or the brass or the fucking government, to defend the people and the Constitution. All enemies, foreign and fucking domestic. These are enemies. They're destroying our entire country. What better example of a fucking domestic enemy are you waiting for?
Right. But unfortunately, our entire army is in Djibouti right now, eating steak and lobster, about to go to war with Iran over some bullshit fucking regime change. And then the other half is in Mexico, dressed up as a cartel fucking members, fighting against the Shine Bomb regime in Mexico. They just killed. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. I do love my country and I love our people and stuff. Like we do have like the kernels of like a real civilization. Like we're a real fucking country. Like, but there are times where I do get a little bit frustrated with my own countrymen where it's like, because I don't know what it is. I think that there's something about us as a civilization where we have like a unique case of like amnesia and we always play like hindsight hero like 10 years after the fact, like hindsight hero, like after Afghanistan, after Iraq, after Libya, after Vietnam. Like everyone always looks back and they're like, yeah, that was stupid and fucked up and that shouldn't have happened. Like 70% of Americans today say that the Iraq war was wrong and it shouldn't have happened. But then when Iran comes around or Venezuela comes around, or in this case like Shine Bomb in Mexico comes around, like it's the memory disappears disappears, and we suddenly forget the logical parameters of history that got us to this point in the first place. Like, if these things keep happening, you have politicians backed by financial bankers and elites telling you that we have to go kill these other people that are different from us in order to secure our freedoms and interests, that somehow our freedoms and interests landed in Afghanistan or Mexico or Venezuela. all the oil that we misappropriated from Venezuela and took from them, immediately after we took the oil from them, who did it go to first? It went to Israel. So where's the logic in that? Like, and sometimes I've been with coworkers who will say, "Well, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go work for Exxon Mobil or whatever out in Venezuela, and I'm gonna work on a drill rig and extract the oil." And it's like, we're not getting it. We're not getting that oil. None of this is for us. None of this is to help us. Everything is to enrich like our financial ruling class.
Right. Wren, can you pull up that link that I shared of the energy in Iran?
Yeah, give me a second.
Because Iran sits on, what is it, the world's third largest oil and gas deposits right there. And guess who's right above them? Keep going down a little bit to that pie chart, I think. Or right there, right there, right there. Look who's right above them. Venezuela, Saudi Arabia. So we got Venezuela down, what was that last year? Saudi Arabia, they're all over the fucking Epstein files. I don't know if you guys...
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh yeah, all over the fucking place. And now look who's about to crumble. Oh, and then look at the other ones too. Those look familiar.
Libya, Nigeria.
It's crazy.
Canada's pretty high up there too.
Does it feel to anyone else like this is sort of a setup? Like they're shoring up energy resources for something big, like a war against China and Russia, maybe?
I don't
Exactly
think that.
what's
I think that for now, in the beginning of this presidential term, I warned that nothing is going to fundamentally change. Everything is going towards the trajectory, like on my social media and stuff, my personal stuff. And a lot of people told me to shut the fuck up and like just wait it out and blah blah blah. And I was like, all this slashing, like the Doge cuts, like all that stuff, the cutting of DEI and all that stuff. Even Marco Rubio admitted that the funds that were directed towards USAID will be redirected towards a similar program that will be more effective, is what he said. And the way that I put it is that if you look at the way that the United States foreign policy operates, it's like a giant hulking sword with a bunch of blades grafted onto it. Eventually, it no longer is efficient at lopping off heads because there's too many rusty, like blood-soaked blades on it. So what they're doing is they're cutting all the blades off and then trimming the fat and making the one efficient razor-thin edged blade. That's what all these Doge cuts, all this retraction and re-centralization of forces, of resources and forces in the United States, and focusing on the Western Hemisphere and focusing more on South America and Venezuela. This is a siphoning back in of resources in order to reconsolidate those resources towards expanding against the East. And the thing with Libya and Venezuela and Iran, another big thing is that not only do they want to have access to those resources, but more importantly, they don't want resistance nations having access to their own resources. They want the resources to either stay in the ground or to be minimally siphoned by them. They want to stifle the forces of production. And they do the same thing as within, so without. Here in the United States, people are like, why can't we have what South Korea or North Korea or like China or Japan has? Why is their infrastructure so much better than ours? Even with Japan, their economy is completely dog shit, but they still have way better infrastructure than ours. And you look at us, our forces of production are stifled. We don't have like high quality roads and bridges and hospitals. Like we haven't done a massive overhaul of our infrastructure nationwide since like the golden era of like FDR.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All these wars are meant to enrich like all these bankers so that they don't have to invest in real concrete economy. They don't want to invest in infrastructure.
You know, it reminds me, look, I'm kind of a history guy. I like learning about history and how the world came to be how it is. And all of this reminds me of fascist Italy. And hear me out. And this is something like people get way too hyped on what we call this or that. Or like I have libertarian friends who are like, yeah, but they nationalized the bank. Like, well, not really. All these financial institutions, these elites, are trying to do is privatize gains and socialize losses. They want to dissolve all their losses so that we pick up the slack for them, us regular people, and then take the gains out of the economy and keep them for themselves. And this is what the nationalizations or the IRI, what was it, the something like reconstitution of industrial whatever in Italy was all about. They basically bailed out the banks. They nationalized them because they were loaded down with debts, right? And then the public was paying those debts while the owners were still making bank. That's how it functioned. This is simply a different version of that. It's the same exact process. And like the libertarians get caught up on, it's private, man. It's public, man. Like, don't worry about that shit. Who benefits?
Who benefits?
Is it us or is it them? There's no in between. There's regular ass working class people and there's elites. If you're not with the rest of us, you're with them. And basically, they've turned you into a cuck. They're kind of like laughing at you as you're advocating them fucking your wife.
Seriously. And this is exactly what's going on with the tariffs right now. The tariffs being ruled illegal. Now, the United States government has to pay back all the fucking corporations and companies that were affected by it. But it's all falling on us, the taxpayer. We, Noah, Justin, Richie, and I, and you know, everyone who's breaking their backs and busting open their fucking knuckles for 40, 50 hours a week are going to be the ones paying off this fucking, $175 billion fucking paycheck that's going to all these corporations.
But to add insult to injury, though, they already expropriated the cost of the tariffs onto the consumer in the first place because everything's more fucking expensive now. So what is the point? What is the point of doing the tariffs this is what I warned against in the beginning too. Like on my personal social media, people gave me shit for this. I was like, the tariffs don't make any fucking sense. All the companies are going to do is offset the cost of expenditure onto the consumer base because they have no incentive. They have no incentive to do otherwise. Nobody is stop gating the companies and being like, no, you can't raise prices and dump the cost of the tariffs onto the regular consumer. Trump passed the tariffs and then all these corporations and businesses raise their prices. And then so the average person is paying the expense of that, but then we have to pay them back again through taxes. So then that's just like, that's a money laundering scheme with extra steps. Like you just defrauded the whole country.
I also want to say the reason why I show this is because all your taxes, and yet America's infrastructure is still a C by at least from last year. Like it's ridiculous.
Why aren't people as pissed off as I am? That's what I want to know. I'm pissed off.
No, you got high blood pressure. That's why.
Dude, I'm surprised my limbs aren't popping off because of blood pressure, right?
No, it's infuriating. It really is, dude. You know, it goes back to, comfortability, complacency, and just overall being a fucking pussy. You know, like Alex Jones is right, dude. The fluoride in our water is making us all faggots, bro. All of us. We're all scared.
I try to tell people about this. They're like, dude, I just want to play video games, bro. I'm like, you have fucking children, man.
Yeah.
Where is your fucking balls? Where is America's balls? That's like the new tagline for the podcast. What happened to America's balls? They're gone.
Dude, something's got to give, man. Like this shit that's come out, like the financial crime, the duping, the satanic, like ritual abuse shit, like now that like everything that I've known for like the past 15 years has been vindicated, which I'm actually like, I wish it wasn't because it's so fucked up that it's true. Like, but like still the fact that it's all vindicated and like now regular people who are not hip to this stuff, they're coming into it. The regular people that I've seen like have public crash outs and they're like, this is not fucking normal. Like, why are y'all acting normal? This is fucked up. That is a valid reaction. That's the type of energy that we need. We need more of those people that are like, why are you all acting normal? normal. Like, this is fucking psychotic. I had a conversation with my older brother one day after a bunch of these documents broke, and I was like, in a rational and sane society, after stuff like this came out, there would be riots in the fucking streets. In a rational and sane society, people would be spazzing the fuck out over this. But instead, I saw a video on Twitter where the guy's like, oh yeah, Howard Lutnick and Donald Trump are implicated in the Epstein files, and this is a big problem because I voted for him, blah, blah, blah. And then some guy in the comments under the video, he's like, oh yeah, facts. If Howard Lutnick isn't fired by tomorrow, I'm not voting in the midterms. and I you see what I mean? Like, it's like we're going fucking insane. Like, it's like we're an insane asylum, like LARPing as a country. Like, sometimes I'm looking at stuff like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? You're not gonna vote in the midterms. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
It's like he got home from work, saw his wife fucking some other guy, and he's like, maybe I won't do the dishes tonight.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
That's real shit.
It's like
What are you
ship,
talking about?
the ship is sinking, and you're trying to raise the alarm and say, "Hey, the ship is sinking," and everybody's like, "What's his problem?" And they just continue doing what they're doing.
Right? They're like, they're all playing fucking Arc Raiders or some shit, you know?
It's on both sides. You have liberal Democrats that are like, oh, see, we told you that Trump was a pedophile. We told you. Now you got to come vote for fucking Kevin Spacey or so. And it's like, I'm exaggerating, but there's people that are trying to funnel back to AOC. Yeah. They're trying to funnel people back to Ilhan Omar. They're trying to funnel people back to Mamdani. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, are you guys not like looking at what this is? Like, what are you talking about?
Justin, look, if Trump wouldn't have gotten elected, all I'm saying is the four of us will be at brunch right now.
I fucking hate that. The pussy hat liberals.
I want to get a pussy hat. Like, I want to get one of those and put like "Make America Great" on it and just confuse the shit out of everyone.
Wait, I can make one of those for you.
Wren, please make one.
Okay.
I'll deliver it.
Make 1 million of them. We'll fill Richie's truck up with them, and we'll just hand them out across the country. People looking at it like, what the fuck?
I'll try to find the thread so that you guys can see. And I asked the guy in the comments, I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, is this a bit? Are you doing a bit?
I hope it was a bit, because right now,
you never know. You never know nowadays, man. You never know.
You're not wrong. You know what I'm waiting for, though, for real? I'm waiting for some organization, some group, some political party, union, whatever, some organization to draw battle lines. Right? We need some like highly organized, disciplined crew. Like, I think about how the Sons of Liberty and the Committees of Correspondence kick shit off. You know what I mean? That's what I think about. I mean, how did the Bolsheviks do it? How did the Cubans overthrow Batista? How did the Mexicans, how did Pancho Villa and those guys get organized? I think about stuff like that. And they all seem to have one group that can sort of unite the rest of the groups and people. But here, it would have to be like, there couldn't be any whiff of a psyop. There couldn't be any billionaires involved, no money involved, no elites, right? Because, I mean, what was Trump other than a false sort of hero that was supposed to go fight the elites, but ended up being one of them, right? So it would have to be authentically working class, right? It would have to come from the unions or whatever. And this group would somehow have to have a giant online presence, but be able to call some kind of new constitutional Congress, right? Or declare a crisis and then begin uniting people, call some summit where you could get people organized and create a division of labor. You guys, you're going to handle X. You guys over here, you're going to handle Y, right? And we're going to get to this thing where there's going to be the 10 million people out of 340 million Americans that are going to march to the White House and demand arrests and maybe executions. That's how we're going to get them all there. You guys all play your parts. You'd have to have some like super disciplined organization though that I don't know where it would come from.
I got an idea.
I don't know either. I can read it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shewn that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed.
See, that just goes to prove that, that the United States was built upon revolution, and they foreseen revolution. It's legitimately in our fucking Declaration of Independence. To be against revolution and overthrowing these satanic pedophiles, these cannibals, like legitimate cannibals. If you're against that, then you're anti-American. You are fucking not my brother. You are not my sister. You can fuck right off and go to fucking Mexico. Fuck that shit. You don't belong here.
Why are you looking at Richie when you said that? That's fucked up, man.
Go to whatever island Richie's from. Fuck it.
I'm Haitian.
Oh shit!
I'm sorry. I had you knew that was coming. Come on.
Richie's an immigrant.
Right. What do I do now? Like and subscribe. I don't know what to do.
From time to time, the tree of liberty is watered with the blood of tyrants and patriots. Our founding fathers knew things like this happened. One of the interesting things, I've read all of the founding fathers pretty in depth. I really enjoy the writings of Thomas Paine and Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin the most. But Thomas Jefferson had this really interesting theoretical conception of why aristocracy was wrong, right? Why that is what led to so many deaths, so much oppression and slavery, right? And interestingly, Thomas Jefferson was also an abolitionist, even though he owned slaves. Weird, but there you have it. So he talked about how among men there is a natural, organic aristocracy. If not prevented by bloodline aristocracy, the cream rises to the top. This was his view, right? In a dog-eat-dog world, those who are best at leading will end up leading if not prevented. So his whole thing was, well, how do we create this more organic aristocracy where the cream rises to the top? How do we prevent bloodline aristocracy, this synthetic thing that's forced onto society from without, from us, from our ideas? How do we get rid of that and never have it arise again? And he knew that we have a tendency to want our children to do better than us, to put them in a position to succeed. And this is one of the ways the bloodline aristocracy kind of came about. So he recommends, I think it was while he was president, limiting inheritance to a single family home, one family home and nothing more. You keep your stuff, like you make a chair, it's your chair. That's how it was back then. You keep your farm, whatever it is, but anything outside of that you are making profit with, that goes to the state. And I have so many libertarian friends that treat Thomas Jefferson like some kind of libertarian. He was not dogmatic at all. He actually was thinking about liberty in a way that's deeper than most of my friends who are libertarian. He's more like the real libertarian. You know what I mean? You can't have inheritance and still have liberty because you stack the deck. It's like if we were playing poker, right? And I put, 50 aces in the deck, gave Justin his 2 cards, and then put out the 3 on the table and my 2 and whatever else. I've stacked the deck against him. That's what inheritance does for Jefferson and for reality. I think that it's time to bring these sort of ideas back. It's time for the tree of liberty to be able to flourish. It's been shit on and pissed on for a long time now.
To add further to your point, if the collective has liberty, then the individual benefits. there is no individual without the collective and vice versa. So if the collective as a whole has liberty, like has access to resources and wealth, then the individual benefit. A rising tide raises all ships. So it's a like what Thomas Jefferson suggested in that idea, where the inheritance that is excess, he's basically advocating to nationalize it on behalf of the country.
Right. And then the country uses it as it sees fit. Think about that. If we just went and took everything outside of Amazon that Bezos, you could even just have them keep Amazon. Who cares, right? Everything outside of that, the whole country is funded.
I mean, there's people that have argued that like Amazon has become part of like critical infrastructure now, just
I
because
agree.
of how
100%.
embedded it's become in like distribution and logistics. Like people buy like medical supplies off of Amazon and shit.
Yeah, it's a public utility. It really is.
Yeah.
And think about it. Well, here's the other thing. What if we just took Amazon, right? It becomes America-zon or whatever, America-zon.
America's on.
You can
Instead
pay
of
the guy
America
for
being
it.
off.
It's like that doesn't really matter to me. The sort of notion of who owns it, whatever. I care about who benefits. You take that and then you eliminate any sort of other online marketplace. We could all make sure this one is the most efficient an online marketplace could possibly ever be. It could employ thousands and millions of Americans, right? Just making it better. I don't know. It just seems like common sense to me.
Amazon, I've heard that they were trying to purchase the United States Postal Service too. The Trump administration was trying to make it possible for them to do that. I don't know. I read that somewhere a long time ago. I just find it really weird that they're trying to.
Yeah, the thing is, like the U.S. Postal Service has had so many budget cuts, and there's so much of it that's like self-funded, and it's held to like impossibly high standards that no other organization in the government is held to. If you compare like Pentagon spending or defense contractor spending from the government to the USPS, like why is the USPS always being targeted for budget cuts when it's literally mandatory and it helps American society function because it delivers necessary goods to people that need it in the most rural areas possible, and it makes it affordable. But then like if you look at the Pentagon, and it blows like $1.7 trillion a year, and like 70% of that is like completely unaccountable. Nobody knows where the fucking money goes. Every other like government expenditure is not held to the same standard as USPS. So yeah, Richie, I agree. It doesn't make any sense to try to like fully privatize USPS. I saw like a really sad ad campaign in my area where they were trying to sell like USPS sweaters and t-shirts to try to like keep the local USPS afloat. And it's just one of those things where it's like, what a total fucking joke that you treat your postal service workers like this. And now they have to sell t-shirts like they're part of the Girl Scouts or some bullshit in order to keep a necessary like government business afloat.
The USPS was literally the essential workers during COVID. They protected all of us. They delivered everything. They kept us going during lockdown and quarantine.
Look, it reminds me of the way they did our school system. They continually underfund something so that then they can swoop in and say, look at how terrible this is. Or the way it's set up to get funding puts people in an impossible situation where around me, for example, individual schools are funded by property tax, which is insane. In order for a school to get the funding it needs, it has to come from the property taxes of the people around it. So what do you do for the 70% of America that's paycheck to paycheck, who can't afford higher taxes as the price of all this stuff raises, as the cost of living goes up and teachers need more just to be able to live and teach? It puts people in this situation where they have to choose between the ability to feed their children and their children's ability to have a future, getting a decent education. And then they go, oh, don't worry though, we'll give you vouchers so you can go to these fucking vultures who are profiting off of your kid's future. The idea that we have for-profit schools should absolutely disgust everyone.
I mean, look at-
Profiting off the children's future? Like, do you have kids? You fucking anti-American scum. I'm sorry. That shit grinds my gears, man.
It's the same thing
look at
with
what
like
it- look what it
for-profit
breeds in.
healthcare, man.
Look at what it breeds. Look at the Harvard guy. The head of fucking Harvard or whatever. He was just in the Epstein files.
Imagine
Same with the engineering department of MIT. They got direct funding and direct direct financial lines. They got like direct like money wirings from Epstein. They helped make the blockchain for crypto.
That's crazy. Speaking of Epstein and MIT, his good buddy Noam Chomsky, huh? Look, can we just say it out loud? Political subcultures were a psyop. They were. If you were a leftist or one of those retards at Charlottesville or whatever the fuck, you got psyoped. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get over it. Sorry.
Yep. I mean, there's times where you gotta just take it on the chin and admit what happened, you know? Like, when I was all the way back in high school, I had to acknowledge that, like, yeah, the whole 9/11 shit, like Iraq War, Afghanistan, like, everything I believed in, my whole world was just shattered. Like, seeing the photos of, like, Abu Ghraib prison, and the stuff we do to people, and, like, finding out about the Pentagon Papers that get fucking blown up after a fucking airplane did a perfect corkscrew into the Pentagon office that had all the $2.3 trillion of archives, like all that stuff. Like, you got to look back and be like, man, like I really got I got thrown for a loop.
Can I tell you guys a weird story about 9/11?
At one point.
That
So-
sucks.
I was living in Pittsburgh when 9/11 happened. I was going to college, believe it or not. And the day 9/11 happens, I go to school like normal. I take like a train and a bus to get there. It's kind of across town from where, well, not across town, but in a different area, right? I lived on the south side. School was in Oakland. So I got to go north, and I get there and everybody's freaking out, right? I go to my class kind of like, what the fuck's happening? Right? And it's on the TV, footage of a plane hitting a building. I'm like, holy shit, I have friends in New York, so I'm kind of worried. But the entire city of Pittsburgh shut down because one of the plane's flight paths was supposed to go over Pittsburgh. There's a military base around there. There's an FBI headquarters. There's legitimate targets. You know what I mean? So the entire city shuts down. Every business. The only thing open are bars. Buses stop. I have to walk all the way back home. So me and a buddy were like, in Pittsburgh, you buy 6-packs of beer from bars. There's no beer at convenience stores or whatever. You have to go to a beer distributor or a bar to get it, or you go to a liquor store for booze. So we're stopping at bars and getting beers, brown bagging on the way home. And we're listening to my buddy Dave's radio. And here's the really weird part. As we're walking home, there's a radio report that the military base outside of Pittsburgh shot down a plane. And so I'm talking about it the next day. The guy I know is like, what are you talking about? There's no plane that got shot down. None of them were shot down. I'm like, I swear to God, I heard it on the radio just yesterday, man. I wouldn't make this shit up. So we go to the same radio station, and they're not talking about a plane getting shot down. They're talking about a plane whose passengers were heroic and tried to overcome the hijackers, and it ended up crashing. Weird.
Yeah, I remember that story.
Right? Very weird. They all had voicemails to their families saying they loved them, etc., before they went and tried to overpower the hijackers and ended up crashing the plane. But the day before, they said they shot it down.
I also have a story about 9/11. Someone I know has an aunt who said that she was supposed to be at the tower that day on 9/11, but the day before, she was told by someone who worked at an Israeli company in the same building not to come tomorrow.
Whoa.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stories about people being like, oh, I was supposed to be there that day. Like, my grandmother was supposed to be there, but didn't go. And I'm wondering, were there like select people that they were telling, hey, take the day off?
That were friends with Israelis?
Or people that they really,
a little dance afterwards.
Yeah.
Not that
Howard Lutnick stayed back from work, and for the first time in 5 years dropped his kid off at kindergarten. The day that 9/11 happened, he stayed away from work, and he dropped his kid off for the first time at kindergarten.
Holy fuck! I was 2 years old, by the way.
Oh yeah, this one's a really good primer. This is a really good primer. This is one of the most important videos I ever watched as a kid.
Dude, let's just watch it. I'm here
Yeah,
for it. Let's do it.
it's only like a few minutes long.
Make that screen bigger, Ren.
On the morning of September 11th, 2001, 19 men armed with box cutters, directed by a man on dialysis in a cave fortress halfway around the world, using a satellite phone and a laptop, directed the most sophisticated penetration of the most heavily defended airspace in the world, overpowering the passengers and the military combat-trained pilots on 4 commercial aircraft before flying those planes wildly off course for over an hour without being a single fighter interceptor. These 19 hijackers, devout religious fundamentalists who like to drink alcohol, snort cocaine, and live with pink-haired strippers, managed to knock down 3 buildings and 2 planes in New York, while in Washington, a pilot who couldn't handle a single-engine Cessna was able to fly a 757 in an 8,000-foot descending 270-degree corkscrew turn to come exactly level with the ground, hitting the Pentagon in the budget analyst office where DoD staffers were working on the mystery of the $2.3 trillion that Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld had announced missing from the Pentagon's coffers in a press conference the day before, on September 10th, 2001. Luckily, the news anchors knew who did it within minutes.
Osama bin Laden.
The pundits knew within hours.
Osama bin Laden.
The administration knew within the day.
Terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbored them.
And the evidence literally fell into the FBI's lap.
That a hijacker's passport was found blocked from the World Trade Center crash. You can believe that.
For some reason, a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists demanded an investigation into the greatest attack on American soil in history. That investigation was delayed, underfunded, set up to fail, a conflict of interest, and a cover-up from start to finish. It was based on testimony extracted through torture, the records of which were destroyed. It failed to mention the existence of WTC-7, Able Danger, P-TECH, Sibel Edmonds, OBL and the CIA, and the drills of hijacked aircraft being flown into buildings that were being simulated at the precise same time that those events were actually happening. It was lied to by the Pentagon, the CIA, the Bush administration, and as for Bush and Cheney, well, no one knows what they told it because they testified in secret, off the record, not under oath, and behind closed doors. It didn't bother to look at who funded the attacks because that question is ultimately of little practical significance. Still, the 9/11 Commission did brilliantly, answering all of the questions the public had, except most of the victims' family members' questions, and pinned blame on all the people responsible, although no one so much as lost their job, determining the attacks were
failure of imagination.
Because
By our government, at least, and I don't think the prior government that could envision flying airplanes into buildings.
Except the Pentagon, FEMA, NORAD, and the NRO. The DIA destroyed 2.5 terabytes of data on Able Danger, but that's okay because it probably wasn't important. The SEC destroyed their records on the investigation into the insider trading before the attacks, but that's okay because destroying the records of the largest investigation in SEC history is just part of routine record keeping. Like the data that they used for their model of WTC-7's collapse, but that's okay because knowing how they made their model of the collapse would jeopardize public safety. The FBI has argued that all material related to their investigation of 9/11 should be kept secret from the public, but that's okay because the FBI probably has nothing to hide. This man never existed, nor is anything he had to say worthy of your attention, and if you say otherwise, you are a paranoid conspiracy theorist and deserve to be shunned by all of humanity. Likewise, him, and her, and her, and her, and him. Osama bin Laden lived in a cave fortress in the hills of Afghanistan, but somehow got away. Then he was hiding out in Tora Bora, but somehow got away. Then he lived in Abbottabad for years, taunting the most comprehensive intelligence dragnet, employing the most sophisticated technology in the history of the world for a decade, releasing video after video with complete impunity and getting younger and younger as he did so. Found in a daring SEAL team raid which wasn't recorded on video, in which he didn't resist or use his wife as a human shield, and in which these crack special forces operatives panicked and killed this unarmed man, supposedly the best source of intelligence about those dastardly terrorists on the entire planet. Then they dumped his body in the ocean before telling anyone about it. Then a couple dozen members died in helicopter crash in Afghanistan. This is the story of 9/11, brought to you by the media, which told you the hard truths about
his head could be seen to move violently forward.
And
they took the babies out of the incubators.
And mobile production facilities.
And
the rescue of Jessica Lynch.
If you have any questions about this story, you are a batshit paranoid tinfoil dog abusing baby hater and will be reviled by everyone. You love your country, your freedom, happiness, rainbows, rock and roll, puppy dogs, apple pie, and your grandma, you will never ever express doubts about any part of this story to anyone. Ever. This has been a public service announcement by the Friends of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DIA, SEC, MSM, White House, NIST, and the 9/11 Commission. Because ignorance is strength.
See, that was awesome.
Fantastic.
That guy's a fucking patriot, and fucking I grew up with that guy when I grew up watching his shit when I was like a teenager in high school. And it's so fucking based because it's all the questions that I had about it. I was like, why? So then, like, if 70% of the 9/11 victims' family members don't agree with the official narrative, 70% of New Yorkers that were family members of the victims don't agree with the official story. They came together because of how badly they disagreed with it and funded their own third-party investigation, to which like they found a chemist who went on site and he found traces of thermite in the rubble and all this other stuff. The families,
Justin, there's no thermite involved in airplanes.
there's
You
no
couldn't
thermite in
possibly have
airplanes.
done that.
But the families never got full justice, so they had to come together and fund it themselves. They had to pool the money together because their own government and their own justice system failed them, and they would not tell the truth about what happened to their kids in the World Trade Center.
I think we need to, as the American people, wake up to a very hard truth. This justice system is not here for us. It's just not. It's here sort of to protect elites. I mean, how else can we say it, right?
Well, it's like how in the video they destroyed all the document, like 2.3 terabytes of data related to the financial crimes that would have implicated tons of financial elites. But then none of the average New Yorkers who were victims of 9/11, they don't get to see any full justice. So then the cover up leads to the disenfranchisement of regular people.
Oh yeah, but also you got to look at like the big name lawyers and the judges and shit like that, and realize that they were also in the Epstein files.
Yeah,
how about that?
And you know what, too? I find it kind of strange how they chose to dump his body into the ocean. Like, wouldn't you want to bring it to the U.S. and say, listen, he is dead, and have it as proof? But now they took it away from us. Now we can never see it.
What, Richie? No, don't be retarded. The first thing you do is dump it in the ocean before anyone knows about it. That's the first thing I would do. Sometimes I just dump shit in the ocean for no reason.
Car batteries.
Yeah, I just take my car batteries and fucking toss them right off the fucking boat. Because sometimes I feel the need to do my due diligence to protect the environment. I'm re-ionizing the water and providing electricity to fish.
Thank you.
All right?
God bless you, sir. Green
Fucking
Justin
nature.
over here. They say the Chinese are the best at like renewable energy and shit like that. They're wrong. It's Justin.
Dude, Richie, I went to a boat show with my family one time, and I told that joke to like this like bougie, like wealthy boat tour lady who's super hot. So I told the joke because I was trying to hit on her. It was super embarrassing. But I was like, yeah, how many car batteries do you think I could throw off this boat? Like while we were touring the boat? And then she was like, I don't think, I'm not sure if that's what you're supposed to do. I think that's illegal. Like that, and I was like this. I kept a straight face, and I was like, no, it's not. No, it's not illegal.
Show it.
Like being such a dick, bro.
I would have been like, it's illegal. Do you know how many?
I love that joke. Yo, you better like and subscribe, dude, or me and Fred Nurse are gonna smash the Monster Energy drink can on your head. All right, dude. You gotta like and subscribe, dude.
You gotta learn how to flirt, Justin.
Dude, the car battery shit, that's 5-star. That's S tier flirting. That's hilarious.
No, Phil, listen, if she didn't understand the joke, that she's not for him.
She did not get the joke.
That is
don't worry about it.
You guys know all those stupid like incel like guys that try to tell incels how to get girls and shit?
Oh, like Andrew Tate.
That's what you should be, Justin.
There's a huge market for that.
Like, yo,
go viral.
just start going up to a girl and say some shit that just sounds insane.
Yo, if the birth
go
rates
up
were
to them,
negative
like,
before,
no.
they will be.
Hey, how many oranges you think I could fit in my mouth?
Dude, or what you got to do is you got to give guys advice like this, like, oh yeah, start microdosing meth and hitting your face with a hammer. That's totally sane. That's totally
like
sane.
Caligula fucking weird guy?
Yeah.
He's like,
do you remember that
like,
clip?
This guy thinks he's like, I'm Looksmaxxing, bro. He is the gayest dude I've ever seen. Like, what dude do you know is so obsessed with how he looks that he's like smashing his chin with a fucking hammer? What an asshole. What
Dude,
an asshole.
Do you, Noah, do you have that clip? Do you have the clip where the fucking guy is like, he's like, what? This is not my fan. And the guy's like, he's like spazzing the fuck out on his camera, dude.
Wren, can you find that for us, please?
I'm trying.
Can you find that for us?
Hold on. It's
all right. Look at, I can see Justin's face. He's like, oh, this is going to be so good.
It's so funny, dude. It's so funny.
How? I don't get how anyone. What kind of a fucking basement dwelling loser do you have to be to take advice from this little soft bitch? I'm sorry, like this. This guy like thinks he's so incredibly good looking. But look, I'm not a woman, but I guarantee you, my wife and all of her friends would laugh and call him a girl.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yo, I grew up with like probably like 5 guys that look like this guy. Honestly, it's just like the most generic.
You gotta rewind it. Full volume.
Yeah, blast that shit, right?
Yeah, don't Jew us now, Ron.
Jesus.
Which one of the boys in the comm has the most riz for Scarlet? And she's gonna let you guys know who's got it, essentially.
What's this guy doing over here?
Are you fucking serious right now? Why is my comm so weird? None of you guys have game.
Why are my comms so weird? And the guy's just like fucking tweaking the fuck out, bro. He's like geeked out, bro. Why?
What does it? There are no other people that would take advice from that fucking soft, pathetic little girl. I'm sorry. That's it. That is your fan base, my friend. Deal with it.
This is not my fan base. Why are my comms so weird? And he has like SCP creatures like fucking tweaking out on camera, bro.
And don't forget like the legitimate
the kid
autists.
from fucking
yeah,
like Elephant Man is back there. The kid from Mask.
Yeah, like Phil is right. It's like literal autism. The 2 kids go up to him and they do like a Roman salute, and then they just start spamming the N-word in real life in front of him. and then Clav is like, oh my god. Oh man.
His name is Clive.
And I'm like, the clavicular, whatever.
Oh, I really thought his name was Caligula.
Caligula, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
I saw this.
What is happening here?
Androgenic or whatever. It's a wig. It's a hat wig.
I don't know what any of this is. You guys gotta like tell me about this.
I'll take my hat off right now. Look, that's my hair. It's not a hat wig.
Wait, who is this guy that was wearing a hat wig?
It's some dude named Androgenic, and he's like, I'm a 6'5" Looksmaxxer, but then another dude, like ASU Albanian dude, said that he actually wears shoe inserts. He's not actually 6'5", he's 6'2". But the thing is, 6'2" is not even that bad. Like that's normal.
6'2"
So why
is
are you
really fucking tall.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yo, I'm 5'7", dog.
I'm only like 6'1", so but like
Richie's like 4'9".
I met Justin in real life.
Hey, I'm 6'2".
Hey, dude, Richie's like, when I stand on my money, I'm 7 feet tall. My truck driving money.
Richie's head is 7 feet tall. It takes up the whole fucking
damn.
What I don't get what's up with these like weird, like they're these neo-Nazi guys. Right? They're all neo-Nazis for some weird fucking reason. Like, what's up with them and just being like super duper gay about it? Right? They're like, oh my god, I have to put inserts in my soles, so I'm 6'4" instead of 6'1". Like, the fuck?
There's something I saw pop up on social media a lot where the city of rat simulation or whatever, and it was like a rat city where once things started to like socially deteriorate amongst the mice, there was like one subcategory of mice that the scientists called the beautiful mice. and they stopped showing interest in women, and they just groomed themselves to look as beautiful as possible. And then the mouse colony went extinct because the male mice were only focused on grooming and cleaning themselves to look as beautiful as possible.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy.
Maybe it's where I'm from. I'm a fucking redneck from Ohio, but women where I'm from would basically look at you as a woman if you were doing it. Like, you would be way too. I mean, nothing against like dudes who are naturally effeminate or whatever, but they would look at you like you're feminine. You're closer to them than like you got to be like a man. At least the women I know. I don't know for them to like want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
Back in my days, we call them metrosexuals. Now we call them
Metrosexuals.
I've been
now we
saying
call
that
them
this
Looksmaxxers.
Looksmaxxing thing is metrosexuals for Zoomers.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And look, the neo-Nazi angle, I can't get past. I know you guys want to
Because they're
move
all
on, but
fucking-
I can't move on past this. Why
There's-
are all these neo-Nazis gay? Look,
There's more of those. They have another one where they're wearing like coconut shells at a Nazi pageant, drag show pageant. And then there's
weird.
There's another one. There's like a written exchange between Hitler and Strasser, where one of the splits between the Strasserites and the Nazi Party was that the Nazis were more lenient on transgenders, and the Strasserites did not agree with that, so they split. That's one of the reasons why they split. And then also, like, people point out the what is it, the medical text book burning because the authors of the medical text were transgender promoting degenerates, but actually it was because supposedly like 80% of Nazi Party membership were implicated within the files because they were identified by the psychosexual analysts as being sexually degenerate. Like 80% of Nazi Party membership at the time period were identified as having some form of like pathological morbidities in their sexual psychological profile. They were seen as like super degenerate.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Justin. I am.
Yeah.
But there is some connection with the psychological sort of profile of someone who has these weird sadistic urges or whatever the fuck you want to call them, and the people who subscribe to like weird like racial theories and Nazism and shit. There's this guy, and this is what I really wanted to bring up. He was a Russian playwright and a famous writer and actor named Maxim Gorky.
Oh,
There's a beautiful park in Moscow called Gorky Park, named after this guy. One of the most beautiful parks in the entire world. But this guy says, I forget the quote. It's something like, if you destroyed all the homosexuals, fascism would die overnight. This guy was like calling it way back then that all the Nazis somehow ended up being gay. So like, here's the real question though. These guys call more shit gay than we do.
Yeah.
We call everything gay for no reason. You know what I mean? It's just the weirdest. See?
This is all fucking true right here. I just sent this to
There's
Wren. It's crazy. So Hitler was in World War I, right?
Yeah.
He was a messenger boy, running from back and forth from the fucking front lines or some shit. And everyone in World War I would sleep in the trenches, right? Like in like the little dugout bunkers and stuff like that. There is journals written from people in Adolf Hitler's battalion, whatever. No one would sleep in their little dugout, whatever, with them. So it's because Adolf Hitler and the one dude would just fuck all the fucking time, dude. They would legitimately fuck loud as shit. This is written. You can look it up. It's real shit. Adolf Hitler was a faggot, dude. And I also read somewhere that he was prescribed estrogen.
Adolf Hitler was a faggot, dude.
He was prescribed estrogen or prescribed himself estrogen. I read that shit somewhere.
I mean,
couldn't
he
tell you
looks
where.
pretty girly right there with his like little shorts.
There's
Why is his socks so damn high? Oh my god.
Crazy, yeah.
Because he thought it made his calves look nice and slim or whatever.
I sent in the chat, I sent a link to an image of like Nick Fuentes like giving fuck me eyes to a catboy in trans flag lighting.
See,
in, like,
okay, that's my point, Justin. Like,
Yeah.
Nick Fuentes is like the neo-Nazi. How another soft, weird kid?
He's like, this is so like zesty and sus. Like he's like this is crazy. Like,
And yo, did you guys see that shooting at that hockey game as well? It was a transgender dad goes and kills his fucking whole family at this like high school hockey game or whatever. Turns out the guy was literally a Nick Fuentes enjoyer. Someone pulled up his Twitter page and whatever. He's replying to all these Nick Fuentes posts and stuff like that. And then someone pulled up a personal picture of him, and he's got a big SS on his fucking arm, big SS with titties and a fucking wig and stuff like that.
Yep. So another thing too is like everyone's been asking, like, it's so incredibly strange the timing of Nick Fuentes like doing the supposed tongue-in-cheek irony poisoned, like, I'm gonna wear the Jeffrey Epstein quarter zip, and like, what's with the crazy timing before the worst of the files drop and everything, right? He's paying homage to his dad. Like the documents entail how they basically made the current contemporary alt-right in a PSYOP lab, and how Ghislaine Maxwell was responsible for almost 1/3 of all of Reddit posts. So on the left, the quote-unquote leftist side of things, Ghislaine Maxwell is like a power user, a Reddit power user, who's responsible for almost 1/3 of the entire fucking website as a moderator. And then Jeffrey Epstein, as an anonymous account, was posting nonstop on 4chan, and he fostered anti-Semitic culture and all this other stuff. And people say, well, but he's a Zionist. Why would he foster that? That doesn't make any sense. He's following the footsteps of one of the founders of Zionism, Theodore Herzl. Theodore Herzl says that anti-Semitism benefits Zionism because it gives justification for an expansion of power and protections of Zionism. Because when you attack them, it gives them rhetorical credence to say, this is why we need nukes. This is why we need our own country. This is why we need to genocide Palestinians. When you notice, when you're a noticer, when you're a fucking retard, you're playing into their rhetorical trappings. They need it to justify their imperialism. That's why Jeffrey Epstein concocted the current iteration of contemporary like alt-rightism. So in the one of the documents that I put together beforehand, one of the guys that I wanted to respond to along with Michael Tracy, I made written responses to them. So one of them is like this like ginger-haired like Jack dude on Instagram who has hundreds of thousands of followers, I think. He's a big deal. And he's like, oh, I'm going to distance myself from Nick Fuentes. I'm an anti-Semite and a neo-Nazi, but not that kind. We need to be serious and not irony poison. But you're still doing the thing. You're still doing what they want you to do. This is Theodore Herzl approved. And the same, it wasn't just Theodore Herzl. Multiple founding members of Zionism back in the 1930s predicted this would happen. And they said that it was necessary to happen in the wide world discourse.
Do you guys remember back when 4chan became a thing and the Charlottesville thing took place? You guys remember like the videos that came out of them all chanting, Jews will not replace us. Jews will not replace us. Who the fuck seriously thinks Jews are about to replace everybody? You got to be insane to actually think that. Go to any random person on the street. Excuse me. What do you think about Jews replacing us? Here's my thing. We have evidence now that the whole goddamn thing was a psyop all along. Yet these retards are so alienated and such desperate losers that want to belong to something that they ignore that. They just ignore it. Push it to the side. No, I'll suck Fuentes' dick anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, come on, man. Grow a fucking... They all say they're like America first. Grow a fucking pair if you want to put America first and do it.
I interacted with one of them one time, and they're not like a Fuentes guy. They disregard him because they disagree with the pedophile shit, but he's still doing the JQ stuff. So, and I was like, let's run it through. Let's run through the logic together. Let's run it back. So let's say that there is a section of the ruling class that is ethnically Jewish. They're not religiously Jewish because a lot of like religious Jews like disavow them. But then even the ones that are, they're like Shabbatists, and they're their own. So what ends up happening is you have a minority population of ethnic Jews, right? They're a minority of those that participate in this level of occultism, esotericism, and like bourgeois, like fascist subterfuge internationally. And what ends up happening is you have to acknowledge that somewhere in between all of this, they have co-collaborators and co-conspirators that are not Jewish because they're a minority of a minority. Even if it's the case, oh, it's the Jews and it's da-da-da, it's like, what about the people that are collaborating with them? Why don't you put more attention on those guys? Because they're facilitating their power. And then you have to begin to ask, well, what is it, those co-collaborators, what's their incentive? What motivates them? What levers of power that do they have access to that allows them to do that? And the more you ask those questions, the more it comes down to who controls the means by which we reproduce society? Who controls the factories? Who controls the farmland? Who controls the infrastructure, the roads, the bridges, the construction equipment? It's not all Jews. There's a wide
fucking Jew.
Yeah, Bill Gates is not Jewish. When
He's
you
the
go
majority farmland owner.
exactly, when you watch these Davos group gatherings, you have Indian dudes and African dudes and fucking Asian dudes, Jewish guys, Irish guys, German guys, all from around the world. They come together at Davos group to talk about how they're going to implant false memories in us, and they all listen to Yuval Noah Harari about how we are a useless class and there's no use for us, and they're gonna get us addicted to video games and drugs to deal with us because they hate us, right? None of these people have any qualms about who's this percentage of Jew, who's this percentage of Chinese. When it comes down to their specific class interests as billionaires, they can go to the Bilderberg group, they can go to Davos group and get along just enough. Even if they have conflicting interests behind the scenes, they can get along just enough to talk about how to fuck you over. They don't argue about who's more Jewish than the other. They don't give a fuck.
And here's one last little bit I want to add for all the people that think it's the Jews, right? I work next to a Jewish guy. The fuck does he have to do with it? What the fuck does regular ass Jewish dude just trying to make a living have to do with it? Nothing.
That's what I've been saying. The majority of like regular Jewish people are not tapped into this like Shabbatist, like occultist Zohar shit about we got to genocide the Palestinians to drag God down to earth. Like the vast majority of Jews are just regular fucking people. They don't know about this shit. This is like weird shit.
So if the entire ruling elite isn't Jewish and is actually minority Jewish and the majority of Jews have nothing to do with it, how is it a Jewish thing? The only logical conclusion, if we're running back the logic, is it's fucking not. Look, are there Jews involved? Sure. Does Israel have a very weird amount of power? Sure. But is it because they're Jewish? You have to be utterly retarded to think that. Utterly retarded.
Dude, there's so much, like I said before, you have to start asking questions, run the logic back, look at all the things in between. You focus
asking questions.
Yeah, like seriously, why? Who's helping these people and why?
Those are really good questions to ask.
What are they motivated by? I am open-minded to whatever. There's people that are saying like, oh, it can't just be blackmail or it goes beyond blackmail. We do have to admit that it is uniquely strange and fucking weird and surreal how much influence Israel has over American politics, to the extent that like almost every congressional member has a Israeli flag next to their plaque in a building that we pay taxes on. It is strange. It is fucking weird. And if we disregard the blackmail thing, it starts like, I think like some people have tried to trace it back to how like evangelical Christianity may have been manipulated when America was first founded, and people took advantage of it in order to facilitate the Zionist lobby later on in the future. And they're saying that it's not just about blackmail. It's like they actually genuinely literally believe in it and they can't shake off the programming no matter how much you try to point it out. It's like they actually what is it? White Anglo WASP. What is it?
White Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Saxon Protestant. Like that type of demographic. The reason why they're aiding and abetting in the Zionist project is because they've grown to genuinely believe in it. And to an extent, it is hard to explain beyond blackmail because because a lot of these people in the files, they're doing this shit because they enjoy torturing and fucking little kids. They're into this shit. It's not just about like, oh, I finally got this guy on camera. These guys have like a fixation on this shit. So it's like, how much of it is like that social element of like, well, now you've done the worst of all things, and now we go down with the ship together. So you can't say a word, right? There's that element of it. But then like also how much of it is like these people just genuinely believe in it, or they're just really into this shit. They're really into it.
Hey Justin, I really think that you're onto something here, but you know, you should really like look into the aliens, you know. I'm pretty sure the aliens are fucking real.
Are aliens real? Why do the elites do all this scumbag shit? And what are Americans to do about it? Find out next week on Making America.
No. Real shit though. Real shit though. If you fucking believe in aliens, you're a retard. There's the only aliens that exist are like little tiny single-celled extremophiles that live on like fucking frozen
Richie
planets
is
and
right
stuff
there,
like that.
man. Not cool.
The only real aliens are the ones are drywallers. Those are the only real aliens.
I'll tell you what. Half of the drywallers on my job right now do not speak English.
The proof
not
is in the
making that
pudding.
up. The
proof is
speak
in the pudding.
Spanish, and they don't think some of us have a little Spanish, and I do.
Oh shit.
Anyway, I think we had a great show tonight, fellas. So I'm excited. We will see all of you next week when we dive into why Bill is gay. Finally, getting the answers you deserve. Like and subscribe. If you don't like and subscribe, fuck. Hold on. If you don't like and subscribe, fuck! Why can't I say subscribe? If you don't like and subscribe, Bill may try to kiss you. If you don't like and subscribe, fuck, hold on. If you don't like and subscribe, fuck! Why can't I say subscribe? If you don't like and subscribe, Bill may try to kiss you.